He's led enterprise programs at global scale, driven change from onshore to offshore. Mr. Pankaj Dua.
With many people who were from the no technical background.
Sir, you've run high stakes work, which is neutralizing operational risks, rescuing slipping timelines, safeguarding production systems.
They were struggling there because of some or one or the other reason.
What's one operation or moment that truly tested you as a leader and taught you something you still carry today?
Again, like we can bring food to the mouth, they have to eat it. We can just show the way and they have to follow.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. I'm Tanay All, and today's conversation is right up the alley for someone who loves the mix of strategy, tech, and real business impact. We often host leaders from boardrooms, labs, and factory floors, but today we're meeting someone who's built value where it really shows inside systems, processes, and products that touch thousands of users and millions of dollars. Our guest has spent 19 plus years building and scaling technology that actually moves the needle, from data warehouses and analytics to IT infrastructure, service management, and product delivery. He's led enterprise programs at global scale, driven change from onshore to offshore, and then rolled up his sleeves to help a startup run like a mini enterprise from day one. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Pankaj Dua, technology leader, product owner, and scrum master, joining us from Gurugram, India. Sir, it's an honor to have you with us today.
Thank you, Tanay, for introducing me. Thank you for inviting for today's talk. It's
Our
really my
pleasure, sir.
pleasure. Thank you.
Sir, you spent close to 2 decades leading technology and business change. Could you please walk us through that journey in your own words? Maybe one or two moments that really shaped you, the kind you still look back on with pride, or even the ones that taught you the hardest lessons.
Okay. So, great question. So I started my journey in brief. So I started my career with teaching for free. I was teaching science and mathematics at a private school there. There I learned one lesson there. If we can explain something very simply to someone, that means we have understood our own as well simply to in a deeper manner. Otherwise, we cannot explain to others. So that was one thing I learned from there. In parallel, after that, I worked on a project from National Geographic Channel where we produced a short film on Indian innovations. So that was another learning for me that how that motivated me that how our Indian innovations are shaping the entire world. So that was one of my motivating factor from there. Later on, I started my journey in US health insurance company. There, I started into a non-technical profile altogether there and landed there accidentally. But then I realized where I have been, and then I started making the progress with guidance from my senior colleagues there. I moved into senior leadership profiles over there, where I worked on projects, automations, lot many things over there, and that was great learning for me. That sport will be required to some extent, but people, if you are working alone, that's also good. But sport is also always good. In terms of toughest lessons, when you say, first of all, my life career journey, my career life was not a straight line. It was like a series of experiments. Every experiment told me something new. Like I told you one thing for my teaching career. Similarly, for my NGC career, US
Yeah.
insurance career, where I worked in different roles, there were a lot of learnings from there. Like one of the hardest lesson, like you asked. So it was like moving from moving from one role to another one. We can say
Yeah.
like one person is stuck, and if the person are not upskilling, they're not taking charge on their own career, then no one can help them. We can bring food to the mouth, but it's someone who has to eat it themselves. So that was something I learned hard,
Yeah.
but I learned, I followed that thoroughly.
That's amazing, sir.
Yes,
And very rightly said, if you can't explain it to a young boy, a concept, then you haven't understood it well, because making it simple is the biggest challenge.
yes.
Yeah. So you've handled programs across data, infrastructure, and product, often with 40 plus customers and multiple cross functional teams. What's one operation or moment that truly tested you as a leader and taught you something you still carry today?
Okay, good question. So I remember one thing where I was leading a capital expenditure team as a project manager. That team was in a data warehouse reporting all those lot many stuff over there, and we used to work on funded projects. The entire team, we can say, was on billable in corporate worlds, no billable and unbillable world. So in that setting, what was happening? If we are getting funds, employees are working like a kind of service industry, we can say. In the same way, and due to some regulatory shifts at the US government departments where we were working for in our organization, two big projects went on hold. And that created trouble. Trouble in the sense that because project went on hold, that means funding went on hold. And for a period which we are not clear, 1 month, 2 months, we don't know how long will it take to resume the project. And that time, because funding is stopped, and because of that, around 30% of my team got into position where they were looking at me. They were afraid to some extent about their jobs because they knew if they are into which kind of team, if there is no funding, their jobs are at risk. Like there's a process, they will be moved to bench, and from bench they may be moved out to the organization if there is no work for them. So that time I realized big responsibility for me that I have to do something. But what I was not clear that time. Then when I give more thoughts, I used the relationships that I built over time over there as a project manager. I reached out to different departments. I reached out to all program managers. I was a project manager, so there's a program manager at a higher level. So I reached all program managers over there, asking for the toughest projects that maybe others have seen mentioned. They cannot do it. So when I approached, we found one project which every team, technical team, rejected. They said we cannot do it for some other reason. So I took it as a challenge. I bring that project to my team. Even my team mentioned that time we cannot do it. It is not feasible. But when I told them, let's start thinking at least. We did a brainstorming daily basis, when some failures, some experimentation that was going on. Finally, within 4 months, we were able to deliver that project. That project went live. So that was the biggest moment for me. That's something that other teams failed to do. They were not able to do. We delivered that.
Yeah.
And from there on, my team was like a go-to team. Whenever there's a toughest thing, program managers used to reach to me, and they also certainly recommending to other departments that if there is something, you can reach out to this person directly
Yeah.
to save time.
When you solve challenges, trust gets built, right?
Yes.
So you've run high stakes work, which is neutralizing operational risks, rescuing slipping timelines, safeguarding production systems, even shepherding VIP level stakeholder risks.
Mhm.
In those moments, what goes through your mind? Like, how do you stay calm when everyone is depending on you?
Okay. It is not that easy, truly say. Sometimes even it happened in the past. Even I lost control.
Yeah.
Circumstances are like that sometimes. But
Yes.
from every such situation, we have learned. I have learned a hard lessons from there, and I improvise every time. That's where I am currently. So some of the situations like it is a production deployment time for
Yeah.
development that we did, and it was also the festival time in India. We can say Christmas and then New Year festival. That
Okay.
is at that time.
Okay.
Some people went on leave. Some people
Yes.
because of whether whatever it was near was that of one or two members who were doing the deployments. One member went on sick leave as well.
Okay.
And the last moment, everything was working fine earlier, but the last moment in the production deployment, something got failed.
Okay.
And because it is a government project that we were doing, we had a hard deadline. We cannot push because of the failure of deployment at our end. So what happened? The very first thing, it is a cross-departmental project. So we opened the war room because the program manager was there. Failure of one team is was affecting the work of other team members,
Yeah.
other teams around us. So it was series of work items. So that's where we opened the war room, and luckily we had some one or two people who knew the work that was done from our end. We pulled them and on adequacies on the war room. We spent almost we can say midnight, around 2 a.m. even, to solve resolve those bugs or those issues, and we deployed finally again. But before morning, it was done, and everyone is happy. And we had a next day very relieving. And the people who pulled out, though we gave them a combo there, but there was a pressure time because everyone around us was pinging us a lot. Every 15 minutes, we were asked to give the status updates, what is
Yeah.
the progress, everything, because other teams were depending on our work.
Yeah.
So that was the really critical moment that time. Opening a war room, sitting there continuously for hours and hours
But I think staying calm is the only option there.
is
Yeah. So, after years across enterprise and startup worlds, what do young professionals often get wrong about discipline, teamwork, or purpose? If you could give one piece of advice to our upcoming leaders, what would it be?
okay. So from there, one thing what I felt was that when I joined the private organization, like the health insurance company, US health insurance company, one thing because I landed into non-technical profile over there, I saw many people into that area. Though I was technical, I landed into that, but there was many people who were from the non-technical background. So they were struggling there because of some or one or the other reason. I learned hard way that I have to upskill myself. I started doing that. Some other colleagues, senior colleagues, they were doing silently what I learned, and they were also good enough to get into some better position. But there were people who kept on making excuses that if we go to another company, we will start from the scratch because we are just BA pass or non-technical, those kind of reasons. So what I learned from my senior colleagues, I started to explain to them, try to motivate them that they how and why they have to upskill. Even I
Yeah.
try to showing directions depending on their interest. Like if someone has to go to technical or some other field, I was guiding them. Some were good enough to catch that direction and they got some promotions within the organization. Some found something outside organization as well. But some people kept on sitting there for even next 10 years. When I saw them, some of them are still there. So from there, I learned one thing again. Like we can bring food to the mouth, they have to eat it. We can just show the way, and they have to follow.
You have to be hungry
And
for
we have
knowledge
to take
yourself.
charge on our own career ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. If you're not hungry for knowledge, no one can come and,
Right.
put it up your throat.
And even AI, we know AI is changing a lot of things around us.
Yeah.
We're not upskilling ourselves according to AI world, then people are already afraid of losing job. So we have to upskill.
Okay, sir, now time for a little fun, our very own
Okay.
rapid fire round. A few quick
Okay.
questions, and yeah, I would request you to give quick answers, one word or one sentence. Are we ready?
Yeah, sure.
Lovely. Tea or coffee? What fuels your mornings?
Okay. Some good thoughts, some meditation. Small meditations.
Lovely. Your guilty pleasure after a long day?
Okay. So for that, sometimes I just watch some videos, YouTube videos that are coming on notifications, like motivating videos usually.
Okay. If you could teleport anywhere in the world right now, where would you go?
Okay. Then it can be any place of where we have natural environment. It can
Okay.
be like rivers or even Himalayas where we have
Okay.
soothing, we can meditate easily, we can think because calm mind can think a lot more ideas.
Absolutely.
Yes.
If your life had a background music, what song would be playing?
Okay. There are actually many songs, but one song that I remember from my school time, I used to hear जिंदगी हर कदम एक नई जंग है जीत जाएंगे हम.
Lovely. One food you can eat every day and not get bored.
Okay, that's a bit tricky. Okay, but anyhow, we can say all home food.
Okay.
There is a lot of variations over there. I never get
Yeah.
bored of the home food.
Yeah. If you could swap lives with someone for a day, who would it be?
Swapping. Okay. For swapping, I will try to swap with some person who's a bigger responsibility, like we can say our prime minister, for example, or a big industrialist like Mr. Motabhai, or we can say Mr. Mani,
Yeah,
so that I can understand what they have to go through throughout the day,
yeah,
their responsibilities.
yeah,
So that I can learn something which I am not doing that now, and I can include in my life.
absolutely. Your personal tagline, if you had one, what would it say?
Okay. So it is like again, for the personal tagline, this never fall. If you're falling, you have to bounce back. You can say simply bounce back if you're falling.
Yeah. Lovely, sir. That gets us to the end of our rapid fire round. Now back to the slightly
Mhm.
more serious questions.
Okay.
So you've led both security and HR adjacent functions, infra, access administration, onboarding across global vendor sites, and enterprise tools. How can organizations protect themselves from this insider style cyber threat?
Okay. That's a good question actually. So what happens usually, security, when we say cyber security, there is external attack, there is an insider attack as well. Insider attack in the sense, there is a variation on that. One is some people within the organization may be doing something wrong. And second is people inside the organization, they are not aware about the cybersecurity practices. So if I talk about the cybersecurity practices, then we have to educate them through some guidance with some examples. One such scenario was that when we educated up our team on the cybersecurity practices, after that, what happened? Like there was phishing email coming in from the name of our founders in the organization, and it was directed to the we can say developer directly. That was first indication of something wrong. And that mail was stating that I want to get this file. Can you please send me urgently? And that raised the alarm. Why that person is asking this person? So because of education that we have given to the team, they were smart enough to raise a concern. They reached out to me and saying, Pankaj, we have got this thing, and I doubt, I suspect. And they marked it as spam. There was an option. We had guided the team well. From there on, it is learning that it is not about the tool and technology. Technology can fail sometime because attackers find their ways to befool the technology. But if people are aware, people are educated about the cyber security, then it is better. That means technology plus people makes the better combination for cyber security.
Yeah, very true. So before we wrap up, I want to touch on something closer to home
Mhm.
for all of us here. You're now part of Directors Institute, so could you please tell me what made you decide to join the Directors Institute community and how has that experience been for you so far?
Okay, got it. So what is happening? Like in my today around 2 decades of experience, I have been contributing to decisions that our executive leadership has been doing through different ways. But what is happening exactly in the boardrooms, how their decisions are shaping, how they're taking decisions actually, which are shaping the organization culture. That's where I want to contribute because I've been already contributing in a lot many things, automations, improving the financials of the company through my automations. But it's time to contribute at the bigger level. That's my understanding because I'll gain lot many knowledge which can be useful at a bigger stage. So by learning what what should be done there, how to what kind of decisions are being made over there, and how to enter those kind of situations is going to be the focus area at that institute. That's why I've joined it here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this kind words, sir. It's been a pleasure. And what really stood out is how you treat technology as a business instrument, design thinking, clean governance, and small improvements that compound into massive value. From building macros to leading three product teams to wearing five hats at a startup, the through line is simple deliver value and make it visible. Thank you so much for your time, for your stories, and all the inspiration, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. To
Bye.
all our viewers, it's been an honor having you with us on FaceTime with Leaders today, powered by Directors Institute World Council of Directors. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, keep creating value, and of course, have fun in your journey. Thank you so much.